Welcome back, everybody, to Geeks and Governance.
Yep, good to be here. Good to see you, even though I did see you recently.
Yes, yeah, man. I just got back from New Jersey, visiting the family and Joey, who's really extended family.
Pretty much, yeah.
For Thanksgiving, it was nice. It was nice. It is good to be back home in the warmth of Arizona. It was cold out there, dude. It was really cold.
It's still cold. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why
I flew out. I flew out the evening before they got a big snowstorm, so that also worked out very nicely for me. But yeah, I'm happy to be back home in my podcasting chair, back in the studio with you, Joe.
In the warmth, you
In the
bastard.
warmth, yes.
You bastard.
Yeah, it's so nice out
it's
here.
cold out here.
It's cold. Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, it reminds me of.
You guys get snow.
It reminds me of Sarah, actually, and I'm not talking about my crush that I stalked in middle school. You know what I mean? That never happened. Anyway, no. But tell them what we're talking about today.
So we're talking about Gears of War, man. We're getting into Gears of War. It's one of our favorite games of all time, for sure. Probably like one of our earliest, like truly shared gaming experiences.
Yeah.
We played through this game very early on in its lifetime, and in 2006 when it came out. So I was in middle school. Joey was in
10 years old.
Yeah, you were still in elementary school. Probably shouldn't have been playing that game.
No,
that's okay.
But
we
I
did a
remember
lot of things we probably weren't supposed to do.
Begged after you came over with your Xbox and you showed my cousin Alex and I Gears of War, and we played it the entire weekend. And then you left, and there was no more Gears of War in my home. It was a dark
I had to
day.
go.
And I was begging for weeks to get an Xbox 360. And then my dad finally took me and said I could get any one game. I was like, Gears of War. And I went home with the Xbox 360. He also got me a couple other things. Crackdown, for sure.
Crackdown was awesome.
Yeah, but I don't even remember Crackdown. I
do remember
Gears
of
War.
We might have to add that to the list, man. Crackdown was a good game with actually a pretty solid narrative. I mean, it was pretty bare bones, but yeah, I mean, the whole concept of it. We'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later, but we'll talk about it. But yeah, that was a good one. But Gears of War, man. So huge love for this game. Comes out in 2006, like early, definitely like a big boost for the 360. I think really the only thing 360 had at that time was Halo. It's the only thing I had to compete
just
with
gaming culture in general, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
no doubt. Well, they revived the third person shooter as well. They revived the third person shooter, and they revolutionized kind of the cover shooter, I think.
100%. Yeah. I still think they do the cover shooting the best out of any other game that I've played.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think they do. Yeah. Because they even do the over the top stuff very well. But, but yeah, so when the game starts, though, which is the juice, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. We always want to get into the plot and extract the themes and then dig into those a little bit.
And circle back. Game mechanics aside, but it is a great game.
We want to make it a point to cover the plot a little bit. As much as we really loved our last episode on V for Vendetta, I think we did kind of skim over the plot very loosely. We didn't really give any grace for people coming in not having a knowledge of the plot of the movie, or maybe people who have some knowledge but haven't seen the movie in 20 years.
Right.
But yeah, we're gonna try to do like a quick kind of plot recap for you guys, like maybe nothing longer than like 3 to 4 minutes, hopefully, and then just so that you guys haven't anybody who hasn't played the game or hasn't played it in again a decade or more, kind of get a refresher on what's happening.
Right.
Yeah. So Gears of War. So it takes place on the planet Sarah. That's what Joey was referencing before. Very similar to Earth. And you open up on like years after Emergence Day. The Locust Horde emerges out of the ground. They just declare immediate and total war on humanity, basically, and they just start killing humans with no discretion whatsoever. Gets really bad, and kind of humanity was already having their kind of own issues with resource wars and international conflicts, so they quickly get kind of backed up into like these fortified cities under the rule of the Cog, and they are fighting a losing war.
Right. Yeah. And so after a little bit of the preamble, which I is discussed in like alternative media and later on down the line. But the game kicks off with Marcus Phoenix, who has like this mythos about him, who is a legendary soldier, and he's sitting in a prison for abandoning his post for some reason or another, and the Locust threat is continuing to escalate. So his good friend from back in the day, Dom, breaks him out of prison, and that's where the game starts. He gets reinstated in the Delta Squad, um, and gets right to the action, and that's where we meet Baird and Coltrane, baby, who's a personal
Coltrane,
favorite of mine.
woo!
Yeah, woo!
Yes, legend,
Bring it on, sucker.
absolute legend.
Um, yeah, so I think that kicks off the rest of the story, which is
Right.
Delta's mission, which is revealed shortly after.
Yeah, and then their mission is basically they need to go and deploy a giant bomb in the Locust tunnels, which again they're mainly underground. They want to deploy this bomb, wipe out the Locusts, hopefully win the war, at least swing it back in the right in their direction. So you follow, you control and play as Delta Squad, mostly Marcus and Dom in this first game. I think in the later games you do get to control the other characters as well, but the team just kind of pushes through these ruined cities, like dark suburbs, underground caverns, and you're fighting all kinds of different locust monsters. And you get to a point where you think you're kind of making good progress. You deploy this thing called a resonator. It's supposed to map out the tunnels. It doesn't quite do it. They go to Marcus Phoenix's dad's house, who is Adam Phoenix, and he not really a house, more like a mega mansion,
Mega
science
mansion.
lab kind of
Yeah,
thing. And
it is.
so
It
he's
is
like
a bad place, though.
yeah, he's like a big a big deal kind of scientist guy with a lot of dark secrets. And they with that technology and that information, they're able to get an entire map of the network. They go aboard this train in the final act of the game. It's very dramatic. You're fighting through, you confront General Ram, which we'll get into him a little bit later too, just kind of touch on some of our favorite scenes involving him. You fight General Ram, you defeat him, you deploy the light mass bomb, and you save the day, or so you think. Turns out, didn't really quite kill all the locusts, and Queen Mira has survived, and she assures us right at this is the as the before the credits roll that this war's not over and they're not dead yet.
Yeah, and Queen Mira, I'd just like to say, like, she's got the worst voice. Like, it sends chills down my spine, man. It just absolutely is thematically insane because it's
Yeah,
like
she's a good
human, and it
antagonist.
leaves like an opening for a sequel. It does everything right in that final scene. I mean, they knew what they were doing. Those guys.
Yeah, it
It's
was
not
great.
even close.
So and yeah, so it's a very theatric game, very story driven game. Obviously, I mean, it has a multiplayer aspect to it as well, which again we'll get into a little bit later. But the story really captured us. It really was kind of relatable and easy to draw parallels between the coalition or the cog, the gears, or who is essentially their like marine force, or their marines, their army, and draw parallels between those and real life. It's not really very difficult actually, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it, Joe.
Absolutely. You want to kick it off?
Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. So the first main theme that I kind of extracted from this whole thing was the idea of an endless war, and militarization, endless war and militarization. So society is very much reshaped in the world of Sarah, entirely by conflict. Again, we before the actual attack of the locust and emergence day, you do have the um the wars that were fought over resources. I forget exactly what they called them, um
Yeah,
but
but for
it
the sake
was
of the conversation, just the resource
they're
wars is
essentially,
fine. I
yeah, the
feel. Yeah,
resource
that's
wars.
what they
Yeah, they're
are.
they're fighting over fuel. There is emulsion, that's what they called it.
Right. Yeah,
Emulsion,
which
yeah,
is
the
in limited
emulsion wars.
supply.
Yes.
And
And
yeah, so and it spins out into an all-out conflict where the cog is obviously the reigning champs pretty much of war. I mean, you look at their suits, you look at their guys, everybody's like got arms that are wider than my head. You know what I mean? They're
Gigantic.
just like
Yeah.
ultimate soldiers. I don't know the physiology of somebody who lives on Sarah, but there's a lot of crackhead looking motherfuckers running around too. So I
Right.
don't know what these guys are eating, but they're eating right.
Horse meat.
And yeah, probably. And you know, it turns into like a full out authoritarian kind of fascist regime prior to the locust threat. Even though I'm sure they had like an idea in the lore, but what ends up happening is they use that as an excuse to pretty much all out try to conquer everything. And you know, the pitiful irony of it is that after the world is reshaped and the locusts come out, they end up kind of ruling at least everywhere that we see, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have a total chokehold on what's left of humanity, and the outcasts and other people are not faring that well. You know, and you see
No.
it in later games like COG communities, and they're not doing great either. You know, um,
No.
nobody seems to be thriving. There's very few strongholds of humanity even left. Um, Total desolation and just constant bloodshed and a struggle for survival.
Yeah. And as a product of the locust closing in and limiting the habitable surface area of their planet, they're forced into like these uniforms, like, and not only like literal uniforms, but they're forced into these cities that that the cog has complete control over. So it's a complete authoritarianism kind of situation here, where it's complete government overreach. I mean, there's no real freedoms that you see that the people have. I mean, they live day to day on the very littlest of resources: food, water, even stuff like, weapons to protect them from the constant threat of the locust.
Right.
And
And it turns into a
it's pretty heavy.
situation where they're just better off, you know what I mean, being under that kind of rule because things are
Right.
so bad outside of there. Um,
Right.
which is, you know, even crazier. There's a lot of suppression of dissent. And even in like the COG's history, you know, with the Hammer of Dawn, for example, which can be likened to, you know, our nuclear weapons. I mean,
Right.
they pretty much used it to destroy huge parts of the surface preemptively, so that just so the locusts couldn't get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, this is the type of like strongman ideology that the cog represents. Even though they are the heroes of the story, you know, at least our team is. But
Right. And I think the game does a good job at that too, because while you do play as the heroes, I mean, even the main protagonist of the game, when you take him over, he's sitting in there in prison for a war crime, essentially.
right,
This is not a black and white world. It's very much shades of gray in Gears of War. And I think they do a great job of exploring that. Again, I mean, you fight for the good guys. Yeah, it's the lesser of two evils from what it seems. It seems like these are just like these monstrous creatures that just emerge from underneath the earth, trying to conquer and kill with impunity. You learn in the later games that's not really the case, but for,
right.
the knowledge that we have right now with the plot presented as it is, it's made very obvious in the beginning that while the cog are here to be the only protectors that humanity has to offer, man, they're super flawed as well. I mean, they got a lot of issues that need to be fixed. I don't know if they can. And that kind of, and I want to kind of call it back to the wars I was talking about. I have them right here in the notes. It was called the Pendulum Wars.
The pendulum
And
wars. There you
yeah,
go.
that's what they called them, because it swung. Yeah, the pendulum swings. I mean, pretty self-explanatory, but it was super impactful on their planet. It created a lot of devastation and loss and destruction. And then immediately after, again, you have the emergence of these monsters of the locust, and then the use of the Hammer of Dawn, just kind of all accumulating to just a complete global collapse, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%. And I mean, it's not the minus the alien threat and so forth. It's not far fetched from a possibility of our own world or an alternate possibility. I mean, even look in the '60s, you have the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that, and you know, if Russia I think it came down to one guy, I forget his name, who didn't authorize the order, and they wanted to like and his captain wanted to do it, and then they put him under some kind of arrest, put him to the brig in the
Yeah.
submarine, and they didn't fire the missiles, and did turn out that it was a miscommunication on the Kremlin's part.
Wow.
um yeah, and it could have spun out to an all-out nuclear war, you know, 30 years before we were even born. So
Right.
that's that's scary. Like it came down to such a small individual act, which I also
Yeah.
think this game does a good point of highlighting is that there's so much conflict and humanity's basically done for as it is. However, at the same time, you have this last holdout that could correct everything, and it comes down to really just a couple of guys, you know?
Yeah.
um which is great because even in a machine, a militant machine like the cog, just as there is in real life, you know, there's always somebody who or people that have their humanity to make the correct decisions when the pressure is really on.
Right. Nah, it's powerful, man. And I think that's why we hope that, like, in our democratic system, we hope that we elect the right people to put in those positions, that when an important call has to be made, the right one gets made for the betterment of humanity. And
Yeah.
that's powerful stuff, man. It really is. And then, like, I don't know, also just like touching on the more human aspects of this game, like we're looking at like more overreaching kind of themes, but like when you're talking about like the characters that you control and that characters that you actually get to see their journey through this world and through this story, there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of, we already touched on kind of moral ambiguity,
Right.
kind of shades of gray, and doing what needs to be done, whether that seems good or bad. You know, it's usually, you know, again, it's painted in the light of doing it for the greater good.
I always
And
found that that like in this series in
mm,
particular, you know, Marcus is always real gruff. Like he's maybe got a joke or two, but he's not like a funny guy. You know,
right,
there's no light at all that he sees. He's just like a guy on a mission with orders,
right.
kind of. He gives that vibe. We find out obviously through the series that like there's a lot more going on there. But, you
Mhm.
know, when you're first introduced to him, he's just kind of like this callous, hulking dominant force, you know what I mean, of nature.
Right. Yeah, he's just kinda like
Um,
a killing machine, just like a
yeah, killing
like a
machine,
half gorilla, half man.
but the rest of the crew really humanizes him as well. And so like
Right.
when you have Baird and Cole and like their interactions, like there's a lot of levity, a lot of like you know, bullshit in just the way that dudes do, like, hey, fuck you type of
Right. A
conversations.
Yeah, and I was gonna talk about that too. A lot of that kinda like, especially with Baird and Cole, because they are kinda like the more like relief characters, but they also kind of display like some coping mechanisms as well. When you talk about like the trauma of war and what you need to what some people need to do to get through that. Like Baird, he's talking shit, he's cracking jokes, he's making fun of people, like he's just kind of, he kind of seems like a jerk, but that's just kind of the way that he processes and copes with everything. But deep
Yeah,
down,
man.
he seems like, you know, he's a good guy. He never screws anybody over that we see, that he's loyal to and that's loyal to him.
Right.
Same thing with Cole, but what Cole does, he's not really, you know, he's not gonna call you a name or put you down, but he's endlessly, I don't know, he's like endlessly energetic, charismatic, just like
Yeah, life of the
enthralled to
party.
be, yeah, life of
He's
the
a
party,
regular
just like enthralled to
Michelangelo.
be
You know what I
like, yeah,
mean?
like involved in the violence and the killing, and no matter how crazy stuff gets and how many people are dying around him, he's always just seems like he's having a blast. But like no person not many people are actually like that. Like I feel like a very real possibility is that is a coping mechanism for Cole. Like instead of being scared and choosing to be scared or be sad, he chooses to be Cole. He chooses to be Coltrane, and everybody loves him for it, including us. Definitely
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And his history
you
is
know what I
like
mean.
a charismatic sports athlete. Um, is also cool. Kind of reminds me of what's the guy? Baseball player. He's retired now. Big Papi Dominicano. That dude. You know what I'm talking
Uh,
about?
David Ortiz.
David Ortiz. There you go.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
that's
yeah.
my dude. He's like David Ortiz is like a Hispanic Coltrane.
Yeah, I bet you David Ortiz put in some work on the battlefield
David
for
Ortiz,
sure.
just for a side reference, he got shot like a little after retiring, and he was in DR at like a bar, like outside, just chilling, and
That's
somebody shot
crazy.
him. They never found out why. I guess David Ortiz don't talk, but
Right. David
um,
Ortiz
but
ain't
he
no
got
snitch.
shot, dude. And the next day, I saw on Instagram somewhere it was like him smiling ear to ear, like in the
That's
hospital.
great.
Just like that's who he is, man. That's who
Yeah,
Coltrane is. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
That's awesome.
Hundred
Yeah,
percent.
you got people like that. They're memorable. They stay in your memory and they become lovable characters. I mean, I think everybody loves Coltrane.
Yeah,
Everybody.
absolutely,
Who doesn't?
absolutely.
But yeah, getting back to kind of the overall arcing story, the last bullet point I really have here as far as themes really is the cycle of oppression. So, you have the locusts as a society, they're shaped by their own trauma. They're shaped by their own fear and the harsh environment. And so it's pretty obvious that just coming from underground, like these are living, breathing, sentient creatures. Like I don't think any of us would want to live in an underground tunnel surrounded by like lava and emulsion and like just awful things all the
Yeah,
time. So it's like that's where they're coming from. And and then both sides, like they both fight for survival in different ways. Again,
and there's
we
no such thing too for like at least on our planet that we know of, because very seldomly have two different species of humanoid existed at the same time on our own planet. And I'm not
right,
talking about like alien life or anything. I'm talking about like we're Homo sapiens, right? And then there's all the different branches of
like
that come
Neanderthals and
prior.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, and some of these
right,
existed at overlapping periods, and the stronger one always killed the weaker one.
right,
And that's what we see on this place. There's coexistence for those types of differences is not popular when the is not popular enough of an idea in either group for it to homogenize and work. You know what I mean?
right.
In a practical setting. But it is one of those things like that's weird about our own history. It's like, how are we the only type of sapiens that exist on this level of intelligence? You know what I mean?
Right.
There aren't branching species is kind of an anomaly in and of itself, because even in other animals we see different species, but with humanity we have one species. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things, like the locusts and humanity could not coexist in any way, shape, or form. It's all
No.
at war to the end, and there's only one survivor. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, man. It's and just kind of want to go back to also just like the resource wars and the conflict, and again both of these entities and these armies that we see fighting each other are essentially fighting over resources. There's only one planet. And there's not enough room for both of them, not enough for both of them to prosper. So, um, it comes down to what is essentially a resource war, and you see that a lot in real life. Unfortunately, I mean, you
Fights
have the
over
war on terror.
oil. Yeah, the
Yeah, you
war
have
on
the
terror.
war on terror, which was essentially really just a war for oil and control over strategic advantages in the Middle East that we wanted to secure and
Building
absolutely did.
pipelines that they never finished, and yeah,
Right.
draining oil. 100%. Yeah, that's the goal. I mean,
Yeah.
they did finish some of them, but not all of them. But
Right.
but yeah, no, like that's the goal. It's always resources. I mean, even now, right now, right? Trump has this big thing going on with Venezuela, and Do you know what Venezuela has more of than almost any other country on earth?
Oil?
Yeah, natural
Yeah.
reserves of oil. Like
Yeah.
that's the end goal. And unfortunately, I doubt we've seen the end of it with this administration. I think it's a stage setter for future conflicts.
Right.
Whether that's by design of this administration or not, I hate to give them that much credit. I don't think so. I think it's just, because if Trump wants something, he wants it now.
Right.
Which is that's a long ways away, but it does set the stage for that type of conflict to happen down the line. Um, and any
For
president
sure.
can be a wartime president. It doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. If
Yeah.
something is started, a conflict where innocent civilians are dying and that's being proven, and our federal government is saying, "Oh well, we don't care. We're not going to hold the people that made the order responsible."
Hmm.
Like Pete Hegseth. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Um, yeah, like that type of thing, that type of order, the soldiers that carried out the order, the commanders that transmitted the order to their soldiers or to whoever was flying these drones or whatever, should be held accountable for these war crimes. Um,
Right.
because it's your duty also in the line of service to say, I'm not going to do anything illegal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Goes against your oath and everything else. So, but unfortunately that's not the reality of these situations oftentimes. And I do think that this has the potential to lead to an Iraq type of situation, or, an I get kind of a locus cog situation.
Yeah.
I don't know who's
Yeah.
Venezuela in that situation, but
Yeah. I don't know either. I don't know.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Things are getting a little shaky out there. Um.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just drone striking boats just because maybe they have drugs, and they're calling them narco terrorists. Before they were always drug smugglers until somebody decided to call them narco terrorists now.
Narco terrorists. Like this
Yeah.
country doesn't make money like hand over fist over the drug problems in this country. If they I'll tell you right now,
1000%.
this is uh, a hot point of view, and I don't know how we got here on the Gears
Hot
of
take.
War video, but yeah, I will
Sorry, I'm
say
always
I
down for some hot takes.
I think if the feds really gave a fuck about addiction problems and the
They
problems
don't.
and deaths and that come with this type of thing, they would legalize all drugs, have it controlled. Children wouldn't have it. It would be off the streets. Dealers would go out of business in fucking no time. Dude, if you
Right.
could get pure shit at the store, you know what I mean? Why would you go there? You would be able to
Yeah.
federally study it. You would have less recidivism. People wouldn't be going to jail for personal use, and
Right.
there would be more education and knowledge in the field. Like
Absolutely.
the reason things like that don't work in this country is because they do them in one place. You have a place like Portland, for example, right?
Right.
And they legalize it there and only there, or decriminalize everything only there. And now you have
Right.
the worst of the worst flooding to one freaking place. But if
Yeah.
the issue was just as spread out and legalized on a national level,
Mhm.
then you would see usage drop
Right.
1000%, 1000%,
Yeah.
because we've seen it in other countries.
Right.
Even Spain decriminal has all this shit decriminalized. There's more programs for help and things like that. Um,
Mhm.
so that's what I mean too, because everybody's looking for examples. Who has Western influence or whatever? It's like, and not only that, these Western countries are doing it and it's working, but Eastern countries are following, and Asian countries and South Pacific countries are following our example of making everything super illegal, and now they're having the same issues that we're having
Yep.
at similar rates. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's this
Which shows
system does
it's
not
not just
work.
an us problem. Exactly.
No,
It's not just an
it's
us
not.
problem.
Yeah,
It's a policy
100%.
problem.
But I would like to close out before we get into categories with saying about Gears of War in
Yep.
particular is that literally the best days of my young life were spent in those lobbies and in those
Yeah.
matchmaking. Man, 100%. And
Yeah,
we knew each
legendary.
other way before then, obviously. I've known you since I was born. But
Yeah,
like, man, a whole
day
lot of
ones,
brotherhood
literally.
finding like in those moments playing Gears.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
for
a
sure. And
hundred
then like
percent.
that was also like a very formative time of our lives. Like again, like middle school, like yeah, again, we played this game for years, so it wasn't just like it
Years.
was probably
It
well
wasn't
into
just
middle
one
school.
year. Yeah.
And you know you're meeting people, you're interacting people and communicating people, and not only is it like one of the first times in your young adult life where you're not even young adult, where you're in your young life that you're going outside of your normal bubble of the people in your family, the people in your town, and your family friends and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You're
and you're
interacting with
reaching
complete
out
strangers.
across the
Yeah,
world.
you're with complete strangers, and sometimes it's for 5 minutes, and sometimes you end up playing with them for hours, or for weeks, or for months, or for years. Like I literally have friends to this day. I mean, one of my best friends, Spencer. We
Yeah.
met each other through video
Met
games and
through video
indirectly through Gears
games.
of War. Yeah, I met his
Absolutely.
his brother Wade. Rest in peace, Wade. Yeah, I met him way back in the day playing Gears of War. We joined a clan. I got like all into it. We were in the freaking
Fear.
yeah, Fear,
I
the Fear
remember.
clan, and we were top 10 on game battles for Gears of War. We were shutting
That's
stuff down
awesome.
for a little while, man. We were having a lot of fun, man. We were all pretty good. We all enjoyed playing with each other for the most part. And then yeah, as naturally things do with like adolescence, things got a little drama filled and a little weird and just had to separate from all that stuff. But still, again, I mean, I still keep friends today from those
From
game
way
sessions,
back.
and it was, yeah, and it was super super cool. And I guess that kind of segues naturally into our category questions, man, because one of my questions for you was going to be like, what's your favorite multiplayer shooter game of all time?
Of all time.
Yeah.
All right. When I answer this though, I'm considering like the community at the time also. I want you to,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
for
No, for sure.
sure. Because I think that makes a big difference. Like today, a lot of the times there's some games that like, yeah, you have to be in proximity and there's no, chats like that. But I
Right.
remember like it was all like that, man. You weren't going into a lobby and party chat. Like that's all it
No.
is today is people not using mics or they're in chat with friends and
Right.
just doing their own thing or they're streaming or whatever the hell, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
constantly. There's no like communication or community I find in most games anymore. I'm not going to say all
Right.
because I know there's some like fringe games where yeah, there's still a lot of community, but it used to be like the real active shooters that had this. And I'm
Yeah.
going Halo 2, man. It was Halo 2 for me. I was about
Oh
9 years
yeah.
old. I started playing, or 10, started playing Halo 2 online and I begged my parents to get rid of dial up, and they got Verizon. um, and
Yeah.
because dial up
And
was
then you had
not
to break it
working.
to him. Then you had to break it to him
Yeah.
that they also had to like pay for like an Xbox Live membership.
Oh man, yeah, no, they gave
Yeah.
me, I think, an allowance for that, and I used to buy the cards at the store.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to buy the cards at the store, and then you would punch in the code. And yeah, it was a whole thing. But Halo
Yeah.
2, man, Halo 2 really got it started for me. I mean, I made friends that I had well into my teenage years. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
didn't keep them because I lost that account, and then
Okay.
was never able to sign back into it because I think
Tragic.
the email I used was like, man, I don't remember anything about the email.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything, like not
Yeah, yeah,
even
I'm never logging this again.
ever again. Yeah, I was like, email. I used an email
Right.
for this. This seems late in the game. I don't know. But no, yeah, Halo 2, man. That did it for me. And then Gears of War you introduced me to, and then soon after that was Halo 3. But even in that
Yeah,
period
Halo
of
3
like
was good.
Gears of War and Call of Duty and stuff, like I was still playing Halo 2 up until the day Halo 3 released. I was playing Halo 2.
Yeah.
I
It was a
specifically
legendary
remember
game.
that. Yeah. What about you, man?
Um, so I would probably have to put Gears number 1, to be honest, man. Just 'cause I was probably like my skill level was probably highest in that game versus any other game I ever really played seriously.
Okay.
Um, I think a very close second, or like maybe even tied for a second, would be either Call of Duty 4, um, or yeah, modern that was the original Modern Warfare, or Halo 3. And the main thing about Halo 3 for me was Forge mode. It made it so there was just so many more things you could do with your friends, like specifically in custom
It's true.
lobbies with your friends that you made online, and you like, all right, well, yeah, we're all gonna
Yeah.
meet up and play like zombies or whatever, and like there was, and like the little like race tracks that people would make for like the
Fire.
mongooses, so much
Fire,
fun,
dude.
dude. Just
Fire. I'm
some of the
surprised they don't
best
bring
gaming
that
experiences
back.
I've ever had. Yeah, they should. They
100%.
should. They've brought back like versions of Forge, but nothing with like the creativity and the custom lobby ability that you really had before.
Dude, people were
At least
doing
not that I
crazy
feel.
shit, man. I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think those I'm we're gonna cheat there. I think we each get like a top three. I don't think it's possible to narrow it down to like just one. I think top three. Yeah, for me it's gonna be Gears, Halo 3, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare.
I'm going the same, but Halo 2 goes Halo 2, Gears of War, definitely COD, Modern Warfare, like Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love Modern
absolutely.
Warfare
I
2.
spent a
Modern Warfare
lot of
2
time on
was
that.
Modern Warfare 2 was arguably better than Modern Warfare 1, but it was just I don't know. It's something was just
Later in the game, it was just they were starting to
yeah.
get different. Yeah, 100%. All right. So this is Gears of War related.
Heard.
If you were in like the Gears world, like Sarah, and you're a cog and you're walking through and you're stuck with Carmine and Baird, and you had to make one of those split up decisions, and you only get to take one of those guys with you.
Okay.
Who are you picking?
Oh, that's a tough one, man. And the reason why I say it's tough, honestly, is because like Baird, obviously, he's more resourceful and he's smarter, probably a quicker thinker. But the reason why I'm gonna choose Carmine is because he is a great bullet sponge. All right, like when he
True.
gets shot, like when Carmines get blasted, everybody else around them is fine, and they have ample time to react, return fire, get the hell up out of there, whatever. So it's like, we're gonna lose some soldiers, and
Yeah,
I'd rather it be
right.
the one next to me rather than me.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. Damn, that's a good argument. Yeah, because if I
yeah,
go in with
100%.
Baird now, I'm not. I'm not one of the. I don't have my own game. You know what I mean?
No, he has a whole game,
He
Judgment
has a
Day. It was
whole
all right.
game. It was not great, but
It was all right. But yeah, Baird's resourceful, but he also might leave your ass.
yeah, he's a douche. He is. He is. Dude, fuck it. I'm taking Carmine too. I was gonna go Baird. I had all these reasons.
Right?
No, they're all gone now.
Right. I mean, what's better than a buddy who's also a bullet sponge?
100%. Get shot. I'm leaving you. It's over.
Yeah, maybe if you get lucky, when he dies, his helmet like rolls off. It's a cool helmet.
It is. It is.
Do
Oh shit.
you
Oh,
gotta get
man.
fitted for those, or is it like one size fits all? You got a big head. You probably need an extra large.
I got a huge head. This hat is extra big. Extra big. If I put this on your head, it'd be.
By the way, we are just barely into December and Joey's already wearing a Santa hat. So just know that like probably the next like 4 episodes, he's gonna be wearing the Santa hat in every one of them.
It's true. I start wearing a Santa hat the day after Thanksgiving. Okay.
Yeah, I can verify that because I was with him the day after Thanksgiving and he did show up wearing a Santa hat.
Absolutely. Sounds like a cool guy, whoever he is.
It sounds ridiculous.
What's your next question?
My next question is favorite scene from the Gears of War game. Favorite like cutscene, cinematic dealio.
All right, I got two.
All right, I
It
can
happened
live
in
with
close proximity.
Okay.
Carmine getting shot. I
Yep.
think it's hilarious.
Because you just didn't see it coming.
No,
Nobody
like-
saw it coming the first time. If you say you saw that shit coming when it was your first time playing, you're a fucking liar.
It's so funny. He's like, guys, my gun's jammed. Can you look at it? And he stands up. Boom.
Yeah,
Just
he's like,
out, dude. Just
he goes, the exact line, because I've seen it so many times. The exact line is, "There's something wrong with this thing. It keeps jamming." And then as he stands up and says it keeps jamming, bow right in the dome from a sniper. Really good shot.
fantastic shot.
Yeah.
Hats off to
All
that
right.
guy.
And what was your second scene?
My second scene, the real favorite is when Kim dies. That has a different effect.
Yeah.
Not funny at all.
Yeah.
Totally horrifying.
Yeah.
And
That was he was a lieutenant, right? Lieutenant Kim?
Yeah, Lieutenant Kim.
Yeah.
And he seemed like a pretty cool dude. Like I would have liked to see him in the sequels. But
Yeah.
no, he gets skewered like a shish kebab
Yeah.
by the
He ain't gonna be in
general.
Rush Hour 2.
No, or 3. Absolutely not.
He might be in Gears Emergence Day though. That's coming out soon.
That's true. I would
That'd be
love
cool.
that.
See
That
him
would be
back in action.
cool. Yeah.
That's a great scene though, what you're describing. Yeah, the when General Ram, because like everyone's trying to get into like this museum because like the locust forces are just swarming from all directions and they're kind of pinning you down. Only way out is into this museum and try to find a way out. And Kim is kind of holding them back, and he's firing with his Lancer, and he's just putting in work, and just menacingly from behind, General Ram. It has 2 A's. I don't care how you pronounce it. He walks up behind him with this giant. Joe, you want to take it from here?
He's got a gigantic freaking sword. It looks black as midnight. He goes up to him and he's shooting at him, and he turns around and then he just
boom.
And he's looking at him
real good.
And Kim's like, "Oh," and then everyone's like, "Get the hell out of here," because that's what I would do too.
All right.
Yeah, it's great. I'm terrible at describing scenes,
scene.
but it was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, and that makes it all the sweeter later in the game when you kill General Ram, and you're like, yeah, that one was for Kim.
That one was for Kim. 100% it was.
Yeah.
What about you, man? What scene are you going with?
My favorite scene from Gears of War, I don't even know if it's technically in the game. I think it's the initial like Emergence Day scene. So like it starts off like people are like literally like sitting at like a cafe, like an outdoor cafe, having some like coffee, and just an explosion from the ground just happens, and then it's just mass chaos. And I don't know why I always resonate with like day one scenes in movies where there's like a post-apocalyptic kind of scenario. Any like any zombie movie, any outbreak movie, any monster attack, giant cataclysmic event, I love to see a day one. Yeah, so
Fair.
that one hits for me. That one hits for me real hard. And like the trailer too, I'm pretty sure that scene was in the trailer, and that really got you hyped for the game. Like that's how you knew this game was about to be different. And like Marcus, like in that trailer with the Familiar Faces song or whatever the fuck that song's called. Yeah, that's a good trailer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mad World. It's a good trailer.
Absolutely.
Good scene.
Yeah.
Good scene. You got one more for me, buddy? You got another category?
I do got one more. It's very American.
All right, cool. Love
So
America. If
you could own one firearm from Gears of War in real life, what are you going with?
Oh, Lancer, no doubt.
Yeah,
Lancer, no doubt.
Lancer?
Yeah, dude. It's a machine gun with a chainsaw, dude. What is there left to be desired, honestly?
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I guess
I don't see what other choice there is. I mean, I'd love to hear your answer on it though.
Torque bow.
Torque bows are cool.
Torque bow, dude. All
torque
day.
bows are cool.
Hunting deer with a torque bow?
So hear me out though. Crossbow bolt.
Right.
TNT. Duct tape. Now you got a torque bow. I'm just saying it's not. It's so much easier than making a chainsaw that's mounted to the bottom of a machine gun. I mean, it's like that's not easy.
Well, no, you wouldn't have to make it. You would get it like from in-game universe in real life.
Right. No, but I'm just saying, like, No, but there a torque bow is easily. I feel like that's an easy feat. That's just like that's not the reason why we don't have exploding crossbows is because I can't come up with a good reason right now as to why we don't have exploding crossbows.
That's what I'm saying. The
But
technology isn't there, Jordan. It's just not there.
it is definitely there.
We
dude.
haven't reached this level yet.
It's absolutely there. But a machine gun with a chainsaw is just the perfect amount of impractical, and that's why they don't exist. Because why would you ever need that other than to chainsaw a locust monster in half?
You know what's bad about the Lancer too is that you get blood all over you.
Right, and people are gonna lose hands. Don't get me wrong. People are gonna lose hands with the Lancer, maybe even me. But you know,
It's the risk I'm willing to take.
yeah. Sometimes
Well, I
you gotta
might blow
pay a price
myself
for
up
awesome.
with the torque bow.
Probably
You
gonna blow
shoot it
yourself
down
up,
at your
yeah.
feet. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with an active reload.
Oh man. Yeah. So that about wraps it for Gears of War, man.
Yeah, that about does it. I
one of
think
my
we covered
all-time
all our
favorites.
bases. Yeah,
Absolutely. We're happy to
I
get
love
into
this
some
game.
video games. Definitely please like and
Yeah,
subscribe if
please.
you're watching.
And hey, if you want to hear more Gears of War, if you want us to get into all the other games, like the 5, 6 games that they have out, like we will. We absolutely will.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just hop in the comments, hop in our email, and just dare us. Just be like, I dare you.
No,
And we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna do it. But we appreciate you guys listening, man. We love all our listeners, all 20 or 30 of you. Thank you so much for listening.
Fantastic.
Please like, subscribe, share, whatever you can do to support the show, man. We appreciate it. And until next time, folks. Been Jordan.
Absolutely. Signing off.
All right, guys. Geeks and Governance signing off. See you.